dari Komplek Balai Budaya Minomartani Ngaglik Sleman. Inilah Radio BBM, jaringan radio komunitas Yogyakarta.
Radio Komunitas Balai Budaya Minomartani. Radio Budaya, Radio Warga, Radio Kita Bersama.
Okay. Well, Madina, Wawa, thank you for joining BBM FM. Thank you for joining the program and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. Of course, I'm super excited. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm thrilled, but I'm nervous a little bit. But
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, good to hear. And Madina, you're from Surakarta, which is referred to as Solo. Can you maybe share a little bit about that? Why is Surakarta referred to as Solo? Do you know?
Yeah. This is a bit story. Originally, I come from Sukoharjo, which is the district.
Okay.
But because I live closer to Solo, so I prefer Solo.
Okay.
And I will share a bit about why Solo is Surakarta and why Surakarta is Solo.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. There, a long story short, the kingdom here in Keraton Yogyakarta, there were like a conflict, family conflict, something like that. So one of the member moved to Surakarta, and they start to make their own. How to say that, like Keraton.
Okay.
They start to make their own
Keraton as a palace.
Yeah.
Yes.
They start to, make their new system and stuff.
Okay.
And then that was in Kartasura. There's also a village named Kartasura.
Okay, the other way around.
Yeah.
Not Surakarta, but Kartasura.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. And then once there was a collapse. Long story short, they had collapse and they moved to Surakarta.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, that's just like they don't want to change the. They don't want that change. It's just the name, so that how to say that include the prosperity, those kind of things. The same. It's just they changed the name, like you cast that Surakarta to Kartasura to Surakarta.
Okay.
And they moved to Surakarta. The name of that village was Sala, actually.
Okay.
Sala.
So the people from Kartasura that moved to Surakarta it was called Sala when they moved there.
Yeah.
And then they changed the name.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why they have Surakarta and Solo. But people here say that Solo, but it's actually Solo. Yeah.
Okay.
But the written is SALA. It's kind of Sala, right?
Sala, yeah. But on the signs, I noticed on the highway, it says Solo, SOLO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, they start to change.
We would say in Danish that like someone who's loved has a lot of names.
Yeah.
So maybe it's something like this. Okay. And Madina, you're from Surakarta, and today we're going to talk about a festival that you have that's traditional to Surakarta, which is called Festival Jenang.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I'm very curious to hear what that is all about. You've also brought a traditional snack. Is it a snack, or would you call it like food?
So this is actually the Jenang.
This is the Jenang. So we're having the Jenang that we're going to taste as well while you walk us through the festival.
Yeah.
And please just share with us what the festival is. What is it about?
So this festival is to celebrate the Solo anniversary. This 2023 was Solo is already 278 years.
278. Okay.
Yeah, and this festival held on February 7th.
February 7th, and every year is the same date, of course. Yeah. Okay. February 7th. Okay.
Yeah,
During the rainy season, during the wet season.
Yeah.
Okay. How does that work? Are you then inside more than outside?
It's held in the Ngarasopuro corridor, which is it's like a road where this road is here. In front of this road is there's also another kraton. It's different from kraton Surakarta. So basically, in this street they have like this market. They sell the vintage stuff, the kebaya, and another thrift clothes, the traditional one. Yeah, and there's also arts like the mural, so that like the graffiti, something like that. Yeah. And this is one of the most artistic road in Solo, in this Ngarasopuro. Okay. And it's held in February 7th, which is maybe rainy, still in rainy season, right? Yeah. But believe it or not, usually they have like a pawang hujan.
Rain shaman. So it's like people who, I don't know how they do it.
Charmin. I'm with you. Yeah.
We have stuff like that here. Okay. So
you have like rain shamans who pray for the weather, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's like I don't know, but it's
they
like
have the ability.
Yeah, they have the ability to
and
control
it's scary. It's mystical. It's scary, but they have those kind of ability that they can some sort of like either stop the rain or move the rain.
Wow.
And it happens not only in this Jenang festivals, it's also like in a lot of festivals in Indonesia. They used to do the rain shaman thing to move the rain,
including concert, like
okay.
Festivals.
And how many shamans would it take for such a huge festival? Like how many people would usually be trying to control the weather? I'm not sure how to put it into words.
I think it depends on their power, their ability.
So they have different levels of power. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, if they're strong enough to do that, maybe one or two, that's enough. But maybe they need more than that.
Interesting. I have so many more questions about that.
There's a rain shaman for MotoGP. She's Indonesian. Her name is Rara, and she was really famous for the way that she moved around and everything. Because when she did that, everybody sees it, so it's some creepy stuff.
And how often would you use? Is it a rain shaman or a weather shaman more general?
It's more like the rain.
Rain. How often would you use that? Like, how big does the event need to be? Could you also ask a rain shaman to do it for your birthday, for example? Like, how big does the event need to be?
As far as I know, wedding usually, because we some traditional wedding are held in the house, like in front of the house, right?
Yeah.
So they don't rent a room or something like that, or in the hotel. They just use the
like the terrace of the house, like the garden of the house.
Something like that. And you can also call that person to move the rain, something like that.
Okay. So because the Jenang Festival is in February, which is wet season, you will usually have a couple of shamans, again, depending on their power, to try to either remove the rain or postpone the rain.
Yeah.
And then you said you have it in this very like artsy or like cultural, is it a street?
Yeah.
Or and that is always like that, right? Because what you mentioned earlier, that you've been there, but you haven't been there for the festival. But even when it's not the festival, it's also a place with arts and crafts. Yeah. Can you explain a bit about your experience there?
Well, I know in Narsoport, is it the place that our current Princess Solo lived? The Rania, I mean?
Yeah.
Did she live in Ngarpo? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So we have a Princess Solo that we just know. So she is recently really famous for her TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah. She made
Princess of Solo.
Princess of Solo.
Is famous for her TikTok.
Yeah. Very modern.
Very modern princess.
So she started to post TikToks about her palace in Ngartopuro, which is her place, and she showed us her traditional bathroom, her room and everything. She didn't live there full time, so she's coming back and forth from Jakarta to Solo, but whenever she's in Solo, she likes to go to the traditional market and to buy kebaya, the traditional clothes, and she showed it to her TikTok, like, okay guys, so this is where I bought my kebaya, and it's really cheap. There's a lot of choices, colors and everything, and she also gave us a little tour of the market, and I did go to Solo to see the market, which is really interesting because the whole road was like one road, and then in the end of the road there's like the palace, and then it's called Mangkunegaran Palace, and then on the left side and the right side there's like markets and stores and everything. So it's true that if she said it is the most artsy road in Solo, because I really enjoyed my time going there. So the kebaya is really nice. That I have to highlight.
And did you go because the princess posted it?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So, we were trying to get away from the exam season. Like, we were trying to refresh ourselves, and then we went to Solo because it's really close, and we have like the train and everything. So we did go there. Yeah. And then we find what do we want to see in Solo, and then I found the Princess of Solo. I mean, I know her, I followed her, but I never really thought of like looking at her page to see what I should do in Solo. Yeah. But then I did, and then I found the traditional market and everything, so that's really interesting. I mean, to say that she's a princess, but she still bought her stuff in the market, the traditional market, especially these kebaya are second-handed, so it's vintage. Yeah. It's like not a new kebaya, so for her to do that, I think it's very humble. Yeah. And she talked to the people in the market, and when I come there, the seller tells me that, Rania Yamin, the princess, she comes here very often. She likes to buy kebaya from us. She promotes us, and then because of her promotion, our market becomes crowdy and stuff. And so they're really grateful for her. Yeah, I can imagine. So it's also, I guess, a way for her to promote her city, which obviously then works because you went there because of that. And I'm curious what you think about that. Obviously, she has a certain status as a princess, so whatever she does will be advertised. It also comes with, I guess, quite a huge responsibility. And how do you, it's such an interesting combination of being a princess, being famous on TikTok, and and then also promoting, I guess, tourism, local tourism. How do you view that, combining these sort of traditional elements with modern elements, and to use it for a tourism, which is a financial gain at the end? How do you view that whole combination? I love that for Rania Yamin, really, because it's really interesting to see a princess in TikTok, and the first time I see it also I'm like, oh my god, she's really modern but she's really traditional at the same time.
Yeah.
Because she also showed us her room in Jakarta, and she lives in an apartment, I guess. And it was very modern. Like she had like this toys and everything, like all the stuff that modern people who lives in Jakarta would have. Like she have all that. And to see that she likes to wear the modern clothes like the usual people wear, it's very weird because I see her a lot wearing the kebaya and the
more traditional setting.
Traditional clothes. But then I saw her wearing like just regular clothes. It's like really, really weird. So I don't know, but I feel like it's interesting to see that she is open to her own culture. She's open to the fact that she's a princess, but she also like do her own thing as well in Jakarta. Yeah. And I think she has, she's working as well in Jakarta, so she's not really like stuck in the palace and obligated to do the palace work and everything. I feel like she's just, every time she's in Solo to visit her palace, she's just basically coming to her hometown to vacation or something, or to promote the tourism in Solo, but that's all, I guess. Not really like she has to do something about it, I guess, in the sense that, because I know that her parents, I think, is still here, so yeah, maybe she's not, I don't know about their jobs or anything, but they are just like regular family, but she's basically like have the like blood, like the status, but not really like the jobs, I think, that's what I know.
That's because that's related to the mayor of Solo, because the mayor of Solo is still young age.
Okay.
It's like no more than 40, I think.
Okay,
30 something. And his strategy to promote Solo is the same. Like he used the social media. Even he's the active user of Twitter, so he comments everything that is connected to him, which is that's fun, right? And that's because the one who is going to continue Indonesian is the youngster, so that's his strategy to get closer to the youngsters. I think.
Okay, and how does social media then work in terms of the festival Jenang? Is that also quite used, and do you use also social media as a way to prepare and promote the festival?
I think I don't know much if there is their personal Instagram account for this festival Jenang, but as far as I know this festival from the mayor, because he's also active users of social media, right? And I think that's kind of successful for Solo and around Solo to promote that there's a festival Jenang in Solo, but for the broader reach, I'm not sure about that.
No.
And me personally, I'm not really active user of Instagram because I don't know, it's just I don't get that feel yet.
No.
Later.
No, it's also not for everyone. Definitely not for everyone, and there are many different ways to obviously promote and engage. Do you know about the festival through the mayor, you said, or do you already know it from before the festival Jenang?
I knew it from the Instagram account of the mayor.
Okay. So it's not something that you know from your family or from okay. Yeah. And what was your first time? When was your first time joining Festival Jenang?
Exactly last February.
Last February was your first time. And how was that experience?
It was fun because how to say that? In this festival, they also share 15,000 of Jenang for free. So that's kind of a lot of people can imagine that 15,000.
15,000. 15.
15. 5,000 Jenang, and then I have to ask so that we can also explain Warga Budaya, our listeners, what is Jenang? Because I'm sitting here looking at your broken one, super sweet, and I'm very curious to taste it. What is Jenang?
Jenang is actually a typical, dessert or food. Usually in Japanese culture, including Yogyakarta, they also have Jenang.
Okay.
Each color or each type of Jenang has its own meaning.
Oh, its own meaning, not just flavor, but
It's
meaning.
Like there's a philosophy.
What meaning do I have here?
Should we try?
Yes,
Yeah.
we shall.
So yeah, this white thing. This is a coconut milk.
Okay, so I just need to explain this to the listeners because obviously they don't see it. I'll share some pictures on the Instagram, Melike the intern, but it's just also to explain. We are sitting here with a large plastic cup, and then the bottom is like a white porridge looking texture, and then on top is a bit more of a jelly texture. And here are the colors with the meaning. I think I have 2 colors.
It's actually 3.
3 colors, and because I see the orange, and
like a
I see
brown.
the pink and brown.
Yeah, this is a red, a brown, and white.
Ah, like that.
You see that?
So the orange is supposed to be brown.
So the red, brown, white. White is also that one you count as well as a color. Okay. And what is it made of?
This on top, this red one, we call it Jenang Mutiara.
Jenang Mutiara.
Mutiara, it means pearl.
Pearl. Yeah, okay. Because it looks like pearls. It's small, like jelly bubbles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tapioca pearl. Tapioca. Like
the mixture of tapioca and sagu.
Okay. I don't know it, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
And usually we eat this just with this coconut milk.
Okay.
Because they mix that here.
Yeah.
And we can combine this too. And I will share the meaning of this. It's actually a symbol of prosperity.
Okay, the red one specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
This prosperity, and because of this sticky, it symbolized
It symbolized how
unity.
close, unity.
Yeah, like a community as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
It symbolized the unity of the people.
Okay.
And here, the second layer, this brown, we call it Jenang Grundel. If that makes sense.
I don't know.
Surakarta is counting on you, Medina, so but no pressure, but pressure.
Grundel. Yeah.
Grindo.
Grundel.
Grindo. Do.
Do with L.
Do.
Yeah.
Grindo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jenang Grundel. So it actually has similar meaning with this red one. This
Okay.
Mutiara.
And that's a bigger bowl. So the brown one, it's not small pearl-like bowls, but it's bigger.
It's a mixture of cassava, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And this thing symbolizes that life is like a wheel. Sometimes you be on top, sometimes you be downward, something like that. So it symbolizes life. Life is like a wheel, like a ball, something like that. Yeah. And
Have you never tried this before?
No, I haven't, so I'm curious.
Yeah.
And the white?
And the white is the white usually symbolize kesucian. How do you call that?
Purity.
Purity, yeah.
Of the heart, and also same the texture because it's sticky. It's symbolize the unity, and usually people in Japanese cook make this white porridge. We call it bubur sum sum.
Yeah. Yeah, bubur is the overall term for porridge in general, right? Yeah.
Bubur sum sum. Usually in the wedding. Yeah, and that symbolizes that everyone who is included in this wedding, including the bride, including the parents, the people who's helping this wedding, they could be unite and create influence good things happen for the new life, right?
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
And I also think, because I looked up the festival briefly on Google, and I noticed that it's common to stir in it together. Is that part of it? Like I noticed these big like pots and that several people were sort of stirring it together. Does that have any symbolic meaning of unity as well, or is that coincidence?
I think so. It is the combining of unity because it's like a gotong royong. We have that term gotong royong.
Yeah, working together. Yeah.
To make that.
Okay, and it's as a dessert.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so Warga Budaya, we have the cup, the white, the brown, the red, and we just had the colors explained. Then it's not done yet. We also have 2 small bags.
Yeah.
One looks a bit like a little syrup,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming it's sweet.
Yes, I think it's sugar.
Sugar. It's like palm sugar probably because it's brown.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think.
And then the other one, the white one, that's the coconut milk.
Yeah. The coconut.
And you said that was a bit more salty.
Yeah.
Oh, so they add salt to it.
Salt and water.
Oh, salt and water.
Yeah.
So you can make the dessert less sweet by adding that. How do you usually like it?
Me personally, I just like this white thing. We call it juru.
Juru. And that's the coconut milk with water and salt.
Yeah.
You add that to it.
Yeah. I don't really like sweet, so I just use this.
But you can really totally customize it because my Jenang cup is only have the red one because that's my favorite. I love the red one. The pearl one. So when we bought it earlier, I just want the red one.
Yeah.
I just want the prosperity.
Only prosperity.
I only want prosperity.
You can totally customize how you want this.
Okay. But it's spilling. I'm not so good at this. Okay. Here, I'll do like this. Okay. Very curious to try this. It's way less sweet than I expected.
Yeah.
It looks very sweet, at least like what I'm used to. But it, to me, it almost tastes. It has like an after flavor to me of rice almost.
Yeah.
And it's not much more sweet than boiled rice. Actually, for me, it's not very sweet. It's nice because I'm also not that into sweets. And I'm also just gonna taste the white. Also not very sweet. Yeah, it's nice.
And actually, if you want to eat this wine, you need to add this because it's sweet, right?
And the white one is like plain, so you can add this, but it's like totally different preferences. But usually they eat it with this because it's like plain. But I don't like sweet, just like you.
No, yeah, especially in the morning. I really wake up craving salt. I don't know, maybe my salt levels are low.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for the festival, Jenang?
I went there with my friend.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I find it more fun when I go with my friend and not because I'm a big fan.
Madina's parents don't listen to this podcast. You're gonna be very disappointed.
Sorry, but because I have a big family, like 4 daughters and 2 parents, right?
Yeah.
So it's
You have 4 daughters and 2 parents.
yeah.
Oh, you have 3 sisters.
Yeah.
Lucky you. I have 2 brothers. I'm very envious.
Yeah, and I prefer go with my friend.
Yeah.
And we just enjoy there, and we don't really, how to say that, like chased by the time, we just want to enjoy that.
Yeah.
moment.
You're just in the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go with your friends to enjoy it, and then what is it that you enjoy? What is around you? Can you try to like set the scene for us? How does that look?
There were like 10. So I get 10, where there are some jenang sellers because they have 2 types, like to sell the jenang, and on the other side to share the jenang. Yeah. So if you want to buy the jenang, you can buy.
Why would I buy it if I can get it for free?
Real.
I saw saw your facial expression as well.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm so happy, and I had to ask, why are you buying one if you can get it for free?
I would totally run to the free.
What's happening? Why?
Sometimes you came late, you know.
You didn't get the Jenang.
Missed it. Missed the free one.
I want another type because the Jenang they share is just something like this, and there are some other types of Jenang like Jenang waje, Jenang something like that. It's from a sticky rice.
Okay. Yeah, I had that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
different types of Jenang, so we have like 3 colors. There are more.
Yeah. Okay, and they all again mean different things, all the different colors.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even there's also green. We saw the green one. Right?
Yeah. What does that mean? Do you know?
I think that's modification. I'll say that like the new form of this white, and they put the green color there.
Okay.
I think it's just to make it look more eye-catching and interesting.
Probably.
So, yeah. This is like the main 3 important things. In
This is like the traditional one we have now. Oh,
That's what they gave out for free. So if you want the colorful one, usually kids they want more colorful.
Yeah.
Mom, I want.
They know how to get the
Yes,
kilos. Yeah. And how does it get green? Is that from Panang? Usually, I know that things that are colored green are from.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or food coloring.
Yeah. And so you've joined once. You joined last year, and you saw it from the mayor's social media, which is an interesting story. Why do you find that Festival Jenang is important to talk about?
So the first is because it's to celebrate the anniversary of Solo, right?
Yeah.
And that's how to say that? It's like me personally, I don't know how old Solo was until I find this.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a celebration for Solo anniversary 278. Maybe if there's no festival, something like this kind of festival, I might still don't know how old is
That's a good point.
that city.
Yeah. And why is that important to you? So knowing how old your city is, knowing a bit more about sort of the cultural heritage of your city, why is that personally important to you? What does that give you?
Me personally, I think it's nice to get to know yourself, including your city, right?
Yeah.
So when you're outside, it's like your city is yourself. You're part of yourself, and it's just for me, it's from like get to know yourself.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Okay. And then I'm very curious to hear from you, Lawa, because prior to the interview, we were talking about you're from Jakarta, and Jakarta is in my understanding, what we talked about, it's a different city in the way that it's very industrial, it's very busy. People often go to Jakarta for work or building a career. So you were mentioning that some of these a bit more traditional elements is not something you have been brought up with a lot.
Yes.
So how do you resonate with when Medina says, well, part of the heritage, part of the city is also my identity? How do you see that?
I feel so sad because I feel like my city doesn't have the cultural things that Medina City has, like the Solo. Like when I go to Solo, I really like that they provide all the cultural stuff to the public in a sense that people can just go there and learn something out of it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, when you're in Jakarta, you just see like the city, the offices, and the everything, the fast-paced living. That's all what you get to see in Jakarta. But they do celebrate the anniversary of the city as well. But it's and it's huge. They have like this costume festivals with like huge costumes, and usually the people who participate in the costume festivals is taken from the high schools. So like they go to high schools and they offer the students that do you want to be a part of the festivals, and if you do, they get you in contact, and then they will like teach you where do you have to walk and stuff like that. So they basically like a parade. So they walk through, I don't know, in Jakarta area. And I feel like that would be nice if you are living in the central of Jakarta, like in really, really Jakarta. But I live in suburbs, so when the festival happened, it doesn't matter to me because like it's really far away, it's really busy, traffic everywhere, obviously, and it's like it's not really important for me, so that makes me sad. But that's what I really like about living in Yogyakarta and also, you know, being close to Solo and everything, because then we get to see a lot of cultures. Like you don't have to you don't have to put on effort to look for a culture whenever you're in Yogyakarta or Solo, because it's just all over the place. Like the building, the people, they wear the traditional clothes everywhere, and they also have like the traditional building as their government building, so that you can just like take a look around at the city, and then you can see like how beautiful the culture is everywhere. Meanwhile in Jakarta, you will just see the huge, plain, modern building. That's what you don't get to see in, you know, Yogyakarta and vice versa. I feel like that's really different. And to say that the Jenang festivals, that's really important to Madina, because she gets to know her culture, her city. That made me sad, because like whenever Jakarta celebrate that festival, like kind of festival, like I don't really care, you know, like okay, Jakarta, you're very old, and then what? And then what? Like it doesn't matter to me. But I think getting to know the Japanese culture, in the sense that living in the Java is really important for me personally, because like even though I'm not from Java, like I'm from Jakarta, but I'm not from Jogja or Solo, but getting to know their culture is really important for me as well, because it makes me feel closer to the Indonesian culture.
Okay, that's interesting. And it's also interesting what you're saying, well, you don't need to make an effort here in Yogyakarta and Solo, because you feel like the governments and buildings are historical buildings, people wear the traditional clothing, you don't need to sort of go actively look for it. I'm also brought up in a big city, and what I notice is I recognize some of the things you say, but I also think that some of the subcultures that emerge in a city is also something I've come to value a lot. So sometimes in big cities, things emerge differently than places that has really strong like heritage ties. So are there anything like in Jakarta, you've obviously also you've done an exchange program in Amsterdam, also a massive city. Do you see anything like in terms of subcultures emerging or something created that you maybe don't find in Yogyakarta, where it is very still tied to its cultural heritage?
I don't know how to answer this question.
It's also a long question.
I mean, I feel like festivals in Yogyakarta or in Solo in general, they're very like cultural, even though we do have like the festival, the kind of festival that you would see in Amsterdam, in Netherlands, or in European and in Jakarta. Like there is music festivals like We The Fest in Jakarta. It's like a huge modern festival like Coachella Dupe. And we have those kind of stuff, but I feel like in Yogyakarta it is more of on the cultural side. It is more calm. It is more zen in a sense that whenever you go to any festivals in Yogyakarta, it is more like calm. Because I know that there is a music festival, but it is in Prambanan, Java Jazz in Prambanan. Temple, Prambanan Temple. So there is a concert with a Prambanan behind it, so it's like very still cultural, even though it's like music concert, but it's still like super very cultural. So I think that's what you get whenever you are in Yogyakarta or Solo. Like that's what you get. That's what the kind of festival that you get. You know? Whenever you were in Jakarta, you wanted to go like a concert or festivals. It's totally different. You're just gonna have like the regular festivals, like the music, the huge stages and the loud music, and like very modern people who's really like interested in the cultures and everything, like people who wear like costumes or like different types of clothes that you would wear every day. That's what a scene that you would get whenever you are in Jakarta, like watching concert in Jakarta. Meanwhile, whenever you're in Java, it's totally different. Like any concert, they will always integrate it with the culture. Like for example, okay, I want a jazz concert. Okay, then Yogyakarta will give you a Prambanan jazz concert and stuff like that. It's really interesting.
So it will combine with some older elements, like cultural heritage elements.
Yeah, but I feel like that's great, because I feel like a lot of people from the city, like Jakarta, they come to Yogyakarta just to enjoy that kind of scene, you know. And I feel like that's really accessible to even tourists from the European countries, for example. They can experience the concert with the traditional elements. I think they would really appreciate that. And I did not see that kind of festivals when I was in Europe. Like they're very modern. I mean, for example, they celebrate Halloween, so I feel like that's maybe the traditional festival. Like Halloween is a traditional festival for.
And when you say, you mean when you were in Amsterdam?
Yeah, I feel like that's like traditional, and I know that there's some kind of like tradition also in Amsterdam that is like quite similar to Halloween, but I forgot what it was. But it was similar, like the people share the candies and everything, but that wasn't Halloween. So
was it carnival?
That was. I forgot what it is called, but I feel like they did celebrate it every year, and it's really important for them as well. But I forgot what.
Santa Claus, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so.
Around Christmas, when were you there?
I was there since August till February, and that was I think that festival was after Halloween, so maybe like near
just
Christmas.
before Christmas. I think it was Santa Claus where the kids.
Yeah.
They because it's a children's festival.
Yes.
Specifically, yeah.
So that's I feel like that's the kind of thing that the people in Amsterdam, for example, that's what they appreciate, like the kind of festivals that. Put together the people, like that's the kind of tradition that they have. But when you come to Indonesia, it's a completely different culture. It's not only what people do, it's not only what people give to others, but it's also the scenery, the clothing, the art, the culture, and stuff like that. It is more than just what you do, but it is also what you see in the festival. So I think that's what you should expect whenever you're going to the central Java.
Yeah. Okay. And you've been in Amsterdam for about half a year for an exchange program, and that means you've also joined the Gay Pride parade in the canals.
Yeah.
How was that experience coming from obviously somewhere that's very different?
Yeah. That was interesting because when the Gay Parade happens, that was actually my first week in Amsterdam. I think that was my second day.
Quite an impression, yeah.
Yeah, that was 6th August. I think I came in 7th or 8th. I forgot. They have like this huge stage in Dam area in central Amsterdam, and I didn't know what that was because I was still fascinated by the traditional buildings in the central Amsterdam, and then I walked through the central, then I found the Dam area with a bunch of people in the huge stages, and like my friend told me, hey, let's come here, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't know what's in it. I didn't know what it was about. So I was like, okay, I will come with you. And then when we go inside the area, there was filled with people who wears different type of clothing. Like, I mean, I've seen people who wear different kinds of clothing in the Amsterdam Central Station. Yeah. But I did not expect that it would be crazier in the central, in the Dam area. And that was really new to me. And I'm really small, like I'm really short, and the foreigners were really like huge and tall with the clothing.
When you say foreigners, you mean the local Dutch?
The locals,
okay.
The Dutch people, they were like wearing these clothes and they were really tall, and I'm really small, so I was like, I'm staring.
You get a bit lost in the crowd.
That was really scary, but that was really cool because I've never seen it before. I mean, I've seen it on the internet, obviously, but never experienced it in my life, and I didn't know that it was like that big, you know. I didn't know that it was such a thing. I did not know that. So when I come there, that was really interesting. Like, I feel like I get the hype, like I get the festivity, like I feel like that kind of festivity we could totally get it in Jakarta, but totally different topic, you know what I'm saying? Like it's completely different events, completely different topics, but we could get like the same festivity in Jakarta, in the sense that, you know, events, big events like that. So that was really fun. That was really, wow, amazing.
What an experience. Also so different from what you're saying. Well, what is your consideration of a festival? And that's also really interesting to hear, obviously, about the Jenang Festival from you, Medina. It's also a whole different understanding of a festival than maybe what I'm used to in Denmark. A festival is also a very, very different event. And you said this festival, the Jenang Festival, you got to know through the social media of the mayor. How would a tourist get to know such an event, and how would a tourist be invited to such an event and engaged in, for example, the Jenang Festival? But it can be any traditional celebration, because as we talked about, I've been here now for 8 weeks. almost 9 weeks. It's the first time I hear of it, which is all normal. There are trillion, billion celebrations in Yogyakarta, and now we're talking about Solo, so it's all perfectly normal. But I'm just trying to understand if a tourist would be interested in going to such a local celebration in Solo, how would you be introduced to it?
I think I don't know, but it's very typical. Like a lot of people say, you can go just click the website, blah blah blah. But that's like you said, not everyone know the direction that I should go here and here. I visit this website, those Instagram account and stuff. But as far as I know, the mayor is working on this international.
It's like work together.
It's
Work
like,
together with international.
Yeah, the mayor is now working, focusing on working with international, so that the tourist attraction would be known broader by.
But I feel like if people are going to Indonesia for vacation, for example, you go to Jakarta, Bali, Solo, Jogja, I mean, you should expect that you are going to see a lot of cultural stuff. You are going to experience a lot of cultural festivals. And because I feel like when I was in the Amsterdam, I also traveled to like the countries around it, like Germany and Budapest and everything. I did went to Italy as well, like Barcelona and stuff like that. And then in every country that I want to visit, I always look for something that is identical to the country. And I know that the Christmas market festivals are the best in Germany.
They're very known in Germany.
Yes, exactly.
It's true.
So like I know that it is good in Germany. So I try to arrange time that I want to celebrate the Christmas market in Germany. So I was in Berlin, so we walk around Berlin, and that was really hard for me because I don't know which market should I visit because I didn't know anything about it. But then there's some information that there's gonna be a market festival anywhere in Germany, so that's pretty easy. Like just walk around, and then they have a lot of like Christmas markets, like different Christmas markets, which is nice. I feel like that's also what you have to expect when you come here as a tourist. Like you need to know like what kind of festivals do they have, and what kind of like tradition you are looking for and stuff like that. Because I feel like maybe you're interested in some specific cultural like traditional festivals maybe. So that's what you have to look for. I feel like that's gonna be easier. Like you have to know what kind of festivals that you want. Because I know when I was in Germany, I know that I want to go to the Christmas market. Yeah. So that's that.
What I experienced here is that a lot of events, a lot of performances, even cities, the nature, so many things have a story. And that is something that I noticed that I wouldn't have gained, I wouldn't have understood if it wouldn't be because I'm doing an internship here. So I think as a tourist to come in, yes, you can go to the Prambanan temple, yes, you can even see the Ramayana, so the traditional dance performed, the ballet, you can see it. But if you don't know someone who can tell you the story, I actually think I would have lost a lot. And that's really something I've noticed because obviously we're in a country where it's not very common to speak English. A lot of information online about these different things are in Bahasa Indonesia. And I also think because of so many of the local practices are just very customary here, they're very common. So what I'm noticing is that obviously what is normal to you is not normal to me, or like for me it's all much more spectacular. So I think what you're saying is true, you need to look it up, but sometimes you don't even know where to start. And I think that was a little bit what I experienced here, is that I'm so happy that I'm working here, I'm so happy that I'm with people from here all the time, because I don't always know where to start. Yes, I can look up, obviously, if you know what Christmas is, you can look up a Christmas market. But if you don't know what Wayang and Ramayana is, then where do you start? And that's really interesting, and that's something that I have thought about a lot in terms of festivals, in terms of coming here as a tourist and experiencing all of these beautiful local celebrations, attractions, is that you need to have a starting point, and somehow it's so far from everything I know already that I don't always know where to start. I mean, the Ramayana performance was completely new to me. Wayang was completely new to me. Gamelan is completely new to me. So, so where do you start then? So, you know what I mean? Like, that's really interesting. Because if I think a festival is somewhere where there's a large stage and there are a bunch of people, you know, thousands of people dancing. If I talk about Denmark, a lot of drinking as well. Drinking alcohol is a huge part of the festival. If that is what I think a festival is everywhere, then it's difficult to search into it. So how do you how do you see that? How would you guide? Let me ask like this as a last question. How do we guide tourists coming to Indonesia to really emerge in these local practices and experiences? Because I think so many people want to, but don't always know where to start.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very big homework
For us.
Very big homework, for you or for me.
For us.
I try to reflect that when I was in Taiwan, I also lost. I mean, I've been there for like a month, but I don't know where to go. If there's any tourist attraction in Taiwan, where should I go? How should I go there?
Yeah.
And the thing that I learned there is get closer to the locals, and they will tell you.
Definitely.
Yeah, tell you that, oh, you should go here, you should go there. But not everyone knows that, right?
No.
Because because their mother language is not English, so you need to know which one is able to speak English and give you those kind of information about where should I go, when should I go, how should I go, something like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think for me is, as a tourist, when I was in Taiwan, be active, asking to people. But
Yeah, I would agree with her, because when I was in Amsterdam, I would hope that some Dutch people would talk to me and just tell me to go around, or just take me to go around Amsterdam, because I don't know where to look exactly. Like, I'm confused, but I know that their center of events are in the Amsterdam Central, obviously, so it's like very easy for me to go there. But like, besides of the events in Amsterdam Central, I didn't know also where to look. And so when I wanted to go back to Indonesia, when I finished my study in Amsterdam, I told all of my friends there, and the non-Dutch people, like also international friends from Denmark, Germany and stuff, I tell them that if you ever go to Indonesia, you can contact me, because I will take you around, because I know that it would be very hard for you to look for information. I mean, even though like we see a lot of tourism attractions in Yogyakarta or Solo or Jakarta, it is still not available for the foreigners. For example, the language barrier and the website information, they're not always updated, and it is not always like promoted, like in TikTok, for example. In Christmas market in Berlin, there's a lot of people covering it, like, there's a Christmas market here, it's nice, blah blah. But when you go to Yogyakarta, there's not a lot of people that tells the foreign tourists to, like, okay, as a tourist from European, for example, you should go here and stuff. Like, it's very like, it's not really spoken about. Like, I mean, I know some hidden gem places, like I know some small places that you could visit, but I feel like you wouldn't know if you were a foreign, because nobody.
And you don't. How would you? Yeah. And I also think it's another element to it that is really important to remember, is that so often you don't explore your own country.
Yeah, true.
I had the same thing about Denmark. I truly think that I got to see Copenhagen, to where I'm born and raised, when my parents-in-law came to Denmark from the Netherlands, and I wanted to show them around. Then I was like, let's get to know my city. And I started visiting again, so like the historical buildings, churches, sites, also like nature areas that I had maybe seen as a kid on a field trip, but then you stop going. So I also think it's not only because you don't want to guide tourists, but I think so often we don't know how, because we stop exploring our own place. And even if, for example, in Denmark there are massive, very old historical churches, in the city, I would pass it every single day to go to school, to go to work. But do I stop and look? Do I know when it was built? Do I know the historical significance? No, because we get a bit sort of spoiled in its value. And I think that is really important when you talk about attracting tourists. If you talk about grabbing sort of tourist attention, it's also about understanding the story and about storytelling. And I think that's what I always come back to, is really the storytelling, and also what I meant before. Yes. I can go see a Ramayana, but if someone doesn't explain to me where that comes and what it means, because it's without dialogue, right? Then I leave with 10% pleasure, 10% knowledge. But if I've watched the Ramayana 2 times, first time not knowing much, second time knowing a lot more about the character and the history, they're 2 completely different experiences. So I think the storytelling is so super important.
Yes.
And I think for me, the best way to learn about that has been to have tourists coming to my home place, having to explain to them, having to look stuff up, having to add meaning to it. Otherwise, it's very difficult. How do you reflect on it if you don't tell someone who isn't just from that place?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Personally, maybe because I'm from Jakarta, like I don't live here full time, like I'm just studying in Jakarta. I did go to a lot of like tourist places just because I wanted to you know, see what Yogyakarta is like. I mean, I know all this sort of culture, but I really wanted to be a part of it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I did join the traditional classes, and I also visit a lot of like gems of places that explains more about the traditional culture, but not in a sense of like a museum, more like a heritage culture that they preserved, like the old houses. There's like a bunch of them, but I just know that you would not get those information on the internet, because that was like really secluded. That was like really, I don't want to say they gatekeep it, but I don't think that they gatekeep it, but it's just like, I think there's just too much culture that they don't know which one of these culture would take the interest of the tourists. Yeah, I feel like that's the thing.
It's a good point, and I also think it's sometimes not knowing that it is special.
Yeah.
And an example I want to give is that so I'm here with my husband, for my husband and I, these small warungs, so the small local cafes that only open in the evening, you know what I mean, right? They set up the tent. That to me is a massive cultural experience. Angkringan, yes. So the ones that are not always set up, but the ones that are set, they're like at the spot, set up, and then they cook in the evening. If you go to Malioboro Street, it is full, it is packed of food everywhere. That for me is a massive, massive cultural experience. But no one has said to me, hey, Melike, we should do that here together. Because I think if you're from here, you do that on a regular basis. That is common. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is so interesting that I think sometimes you've also been to Budapest, right, Medina? So sometimes it takes...
No.
No, sorry.
I went to Budapest.
You went to Budapest, sorry. And I think sometimes it takes you to go out of your place to realize what was special about it, and to realize, what I thought was so normal, it is not.
Yeah.
And then you start realizing, okay, if tourists come here, these are some of the things they need to see, because they probably have never done that before. Another thing is, for example, my husband was dying to try this coffee where you put the coal in. So you put like a hot coal inside the coffee, the charcoal inside the coffee. For locals here, that's quite just a normal thing. You can order it if you want. If you don't want, you don't. For him, it was really something that I'm not leaving Yogyakarta before having tried this. So some of these things that are very known, and I think that is partially the key to I think the attracting tourism, both locally and internationally.
Well, Amsterdam grocery stores or any stores closes at 5. That was shocking for me, because I mean 5, I was just getting out. I was just getting ready to get out, and then when I got up, everything is closed, and I'm like, what? Is it a special day or something? Is it like a national holiday? And it is not. It's just regular day in Amsterdam.
It's very true.
That was very lacking in Amsterdam, like the night. I feel like the night stuff is like nothing. Because in summertime, the sunset is like 11 till 12. So that was really stressful for me, because the sun is still out and we're inside
Yeah.
because no stores are open. That's so crazy for me.
That's such a good point. It's really true. It's really something that we are noticing that is very easy here.
Yeah.
That I can, I don't need to stress that after work things are gonna be closed. I can get the most random things at any time of the day, which
Yes,
is very convenient.
Very true.
Yeah.
That's what I really, really miss about Indonesia when I was in Netherlands. I was like, I want to eat on the side of the road.
Yeah.
I want to eat at 8 p.m. outside.
Exactly.
But you can't.
No.
Even the seller walked through in front of the house selling the meatballs and
Yeah. You never have to starve. I mean, there's
Yeah.
always food around.
There is always food around. That's so true. And we also have like the Gojek. It's like Uber thing.
Yeah.
And it's also, they have like 24 hours restaurants. So whenever you're hungry 2 a.m., you can just order something.
It's
It's
very
so
convenient.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I really, really like about Indonesia, Yogyakarta especially.
Yeah.
And the angkringan are really cheap, like the food stalls in the
Yeah.
streets. They were very cheap and they open probably until 12 a.m.
Yeah.
So nice.
It's true. Okay, I think I could hold you here forever, but I have to also let you go. I'm curious to hear, just like as the last thing, are there any festivals that you plan to go to by the end of the year? So before the year ends, are there any local ceremonies or celebrations that you're gonna join?
In Yogyakarta, I don't know, but I really, maybe this is a little bit out of the topic, but one of the festivals from Indonesia that I really want to try is the one in Bali. Yang itu apa namanya sih? Nyepi. It's called Nyepi.
Okay.
Festival in Bali. So I think it's for this year. It's already like celebrated. So the festival is about being quiet at home. So there's no lamp. There's no nothing. People are not doing anything.
No
They just-
electricity, no television, no
Nothing. No
washing machine,
No sound.
For how long?
For a day.
For a full day?
24 hours.
24 hours.
So like the whole day, everybody just stays home, including the tourists, which
Also
is
no
nice.
cars, right?
Yeah, no
Yeah,
cars, no
no cars.
nothing. You just can't get out of the house.
Yeah.
So before the nyepi, you have to buy something like food or something to kind of like prepare yourself at home.
Yeah.
That I really want to try because they say in Nyepi, Bali is very quiet, very calm, very peaceful. And then at night, because of there's no lamp, there's no electricity and all, so
See the
you
stars.
you get see the stars. That's
Beautiful.
Yes.
And when is the Nibi? If our tourists listening, when is Nibi?
It's
This Nyepi
I think it was
is
in March.
I think it was in
Okay.
March. But do look for the festivals in Bali because they're very nice, very cultural. But I feel like for Yogyakarta, I think there's no certain festival that I wanted to come. Maybe just like the museums and the like the dance performance and stuff, and that you can always find in like the central of Yogyakarta, like in Keraton in the palace, and also in the Ambarukmo Royal. They have like all these events in Yogyakarta. So do find like a palacey place in Yogyakarta. They will probably give you information about what kind of events they have, and it is most likely very, very cultural events.
Well, thank you a lot, Wawa, Madina, for joining the program, for sharing so much about festivals and your own take on it. Thank you a lot for joining.
Thank you for having us today.
Of course.
Dari Komplek Balai Budaya Minomartani Ngaglik Sleman, inilah Radio BBM, jaringan radio komunitas Yogyakarta.